afternoon. I'm Moria, your BEYA Stars and Stripes STEM Career Day Student Ambassador. Thank you for joining us, and to all the veterans watching, thank you for your service. Today we'll talk with Career Day Student Ambassador Hope Pagan, who attended the Women of Color Conference in Detroit, Michigan in October. Hope will share her experiences at the conference, what she saw, who she met, and how the experience impacted her. Now we'll turn it over to Mimi and Hope.
Hey, Mimi.
Hi, Hope. Hi, everyone. How are you guys doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm great, thank you. Today, as we know from Moria, we are joined by Hope Pagan. Would you like to tell us a couple of your experiences from the Women of Color Conference a few weeks ago?
I would love to. So this experience was different for me this year because I was a college ambassador because I'm a college student. I'm a freshman in college now. So I was able to see other college students and that are majoring in the STEM field, and I was asking about their majors and their schools. A lot of HBCUs attended, so it was cool to get like a little historical Black college university intake and personal experience. And then I got to interview some of the high people in the STEM careers. Like I got to interview Navy officers. I got to interview women that were working with NASA and Amazon, like just like CEOs, and it was just a great experience, especially seeing women of color, because I'm a woman of color, and seeing them do great things and just like taking over the industry. So it was very inspirational and motivating, and it really helped me keep focused for me and my next 4 years in college. So I was very blessed to be able to have that opportunity.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. That sounds like it was a blast.
Yes, it was. Thank you.
Of course. Could you please tell us about your time at the Career Carnival and what were some booths that caught your attention?
So at the Carnival, we were with a lot of Detroit students and a lot of different schools, and they were like high school students, and they were walking around. We had innovative events, innovative stands and booths, so it was cool to do that. I spoke with one who was very inspirational. He did artwork for black culture representation. We spoke about that and how art had to do with the STEM world. We also worked with people women who were writing books for for people of women of color in STEM, and like people who are trying to just like get out their students, like inspirational books. And then we also had this car race, because in STEM City they have some interactive video games now, and one of them happened to be like the car racing one. So I got to be on the car, race one of the students, and I lost very, very badly. He beat me. I was talking a lot of trash talk, but it was so cool to see how STEM can turn into so much fun, because we use it in video games every day.
Oh, wow. So pretty much the career booths or the carnival was about of different segments of everybody's like passion and how it connects to STEM.
Yeah, it had every science, technology, engineering, math, art. Like it had everything. Everything was represented at the career day fair. So
That's
that was
amazing.
yeah.
That sounds like fun.
It was not losing's not fun, but being there and be able to be innovative with the booths was fun. So
I'm glad to hear your experience was well. Could
thank
you
you.
tell me about an opportunity that you had to conduct some interviews and maybe who you got to interview as well?
So we interviewed some of the people that were, doing the representation for the career booths, and one person I met it was a woman who was involved with the forest of
Oh, wow.
our world and stuff like that, and they wanted to protect the forest. And so I was interested to hear about how does something with nature have to do anything with STEM, if STEM technology, but it has a lot to do, because our technology is what saves the forest. We have to use our technology to figure out what's going wrong, or to figure out if the weather's okay, or the trees are, like, what I mean. So she was literally like explaining how STEM had to do so much with how we make sure our planet is on the right track. And then I interviewed a woman who she was working for the government. She actually lost her job, but she was an undercover, like, secret officer or whatever. I forget what it was called, but it was very intriguing. So I was wondering, she got pushed out of her job because she was a woman of color, and the job thought like they could push her out. And I asked her how she overcome it, and she told me that she remembered who she was. She kept her head high, and she didn't bend to the will of others. And now she's in a whole different career path of making books and making cartoons and making clothes and stuff like that. So she was like, it all worked out for the good. But that really taught me that in life we're gonna have work experiences that might not go to the expectation that we have, but if we keep our identity strong, like she did, we're gonna get to that final destination. We're gonna get to our goal and where we are supposed to be in life. So that was nice to be able to interview her about too. And then I feel like my favorite one was interviewing the guy about his art because I love looking at art and just wondering what the story behind it was. And it was so nice to see the kids like that looked like me, like of color, and they were intrigued by the art. I felt like they were understood, connected. And I was asking the kids questions. I said, "What does this art explain to you? Or what does this art make you feel?" And they were able to give me those answers, and they were able to go deep. And just seeing those kids go deep about something that had to do with something like art was just very like it was inspirational. It just felt really comforting. Like we're all in this together.
Oh, wow. That's really cool. I liked how you're talking about the art because, most of it comes from like different deep, not all the times deep, but like there's always a deeper meaning in art than it just being a picture. So the fact that it's a part of STEM as well as people of color, there's so much that it could range from. So I think
Mhm.
that's really amazing. It sounds like it was a really cool experience.
It was, and I think what was really unique about it was a man that was the artist, but he had
Mhm.
so much reputation of like women being the bigger part of the painting, and I was so intrigued by that because I was like, usually like as a man they're gonna give a man's perspective, but he was like no, because the heart and soul sometimes can come from that black woman, can come from a woman just being the rock for the man, and so that was really just hearing that it made me inspiration to be the best woman I could be.
That's amazing. I love that. I wish I got to see that because it sounds like it was really, really impactful.
I hope you do too. I think you're gonna have fun.
Thank you. So I heard that you also went to a award show. What were some of the highlights there?
The highlight was definitely, in my opinion, hearing the woman of color STEM winner do her share her speech with us, and I think it was very impactful because her story caught my attention since like the first sentence. She actually went through something that was traumatic, something that we probably have never got to experience, like a whole genocide of her family being like swept away, and it's like her whole town was like destroyed and she had to separate. And just hearing her story, how she had to overcome after overcome after overcome, and to see where she was today, it was mind blowing. Usually, some people can't even get there from the way that she started, and she was so humble about it, but she was so also down to earth. The way she was talking was like I could really just I wanted to pick up a pen and paper and just start writing notes because she was very inspirational. She was someone I want to keep my eye on, so I can hopefully get there one day. And my twin sister actually also was able to talk to her one on one before the awards ceremony. My twin sister wants to be a CEO of her own company one day, and she was just giving my sister like key points and stuff like that. She was an amazing woman, and she definitely made my perspective change after that speech. I think she killed the speech.
Oh, wow. That was amazing. And do you know by any chance like what business she does? If not, it's okay.
I remember her. Give me 1 second because I have to really think about this.
No worries.
She definitely works with it's a STEM technological company. Oh, I think it was Google Maps. She made Google Maps or something like that. Before she started
Oh,
with Google
wow.
Maps. Yeah, if I'm wrong, please. I'm so sorry. I feel bad if I'm wrong, but I
It's
feel like it's something
okay.
to do with Google Maps or something to do with Google. I think her and Google work hand in hand, but I feel like it's Google Maps.
Oh, wow. But that's really cool.
Thank you.
And so, with all that you've experienced and all that you learned, what would you think that, first of all, was some of your takeaways, but also that you think that other people took away from it as well?
That's a great question. I think my takeaway was definitely from that conversation I had with the one woman that her job had to push her out, and I realized that I want to be a lawyer, and I don't think there's such a representation of lawyers, especially as a black woman in my career field. So it really made me realize that if I want something, I have to keep my eye set on that goal, no matter who
Yeah.
tries to take me off of it or make me sway off of it. And seeing these women thrive, not only just get to the place they're at, but then thrive in that place they're at, taking it a step further, it really made me not just want to be a lawyer, but it made me want to be the best lawyer I can possibly be in representation for other girls my age that don't have many representation for the career fields they're in. And in general, for being a college student, it made me want to focus and do things now instead of waiting for later. I feel sometimes that as college students, we wait for the 4 years to be over and then we go out and get what we want. As a college student, I can go get those internships right now. I can advocate for myself right now, and I can use my brain to my best of my ability right now. I don't have to wait until those 4 years are over, and I don't plan on it either.
Oh wow, I love that. You know, you gotta like stay locked in. You can't like no distractions. It's just
Right.
like you gotta go. You gotta make it to the end.
Yep.
I
Gotta
love
make it to
that.
the end. Thank you.
And would you say that your experience by any chance like impacted your view on women in STEM or even just like women being lawyers?
It definitely did. I feel like sometimes I forget that there's so many women in STEM because when we have a commercial, it's usually like a man or on a phone or a computer. And I feel like sometimes just being in a room filled with women thriving just shows me that we really are the industry. We really can come together, and so much of us have play a great part of why the industry is booming today. And I don't think that we get to hear that a lot. But being there, I realize we are why the industry is thriving. We are why it is continuing to succeed and continuing to grow. Not only just succeed, but grow. And that's a big part because technology is our future. And seeing women in STEM shows me that I have a future. I have so many opportunities that are coming for me. Um I have so many opportunities that are coming and so many experiences that I'm going to be able to have. So I was really blessed to just realize that like my 2 feet are grounded and I can walk in those footprints of the women before me and the women that are walking right now, making a way for me to get there one day.
That's amazing. I definitely agree with that. Like being a woman in STEM, it's like STEM alone is a really like male dominated field. And so the fact that you had the opportunity to be with so much women who had the same impact and that had the same interest as well, it makes you feel like really connected. And so that's amazing.
Yeah,
I'm
I felt
so
very
glad.
connected. Thank you so much. It was such a great experience. I miss it already. I can't wait for BEYA. I'm excited. I wish I could do it every 2 weeks. I would.
I love that. Next time I have to come because that sounds
You have to
amazing.
come. Yes, I would love to see you there.
I would love to go too. Thank you so much, Hope, for your time
Thank you so
and
much
for
for
sharing.
interviewing me.
Of course, anytime. Over to you, Moria.
Thank you, Hope, for sharing the Women of Color STEM conference activities. That sounded exciting. Now, before we learn about a past STEM inventor, here's a word from our sponsor, Lockheed Martin.
I work at Lockheed Martin as a cybersecurity systems engineer, and I've been at Lockheed for 19 years. The role of cybersecurity engineering has a tremendous impact on the mission to deliver secure systems to our customers. I have 3 children. My kids are the center of my universe. I would not be able to continue working effectively as a working parent if it had not been for the flexibility in our work schedule and the flexibility of our leaders to help me exercise a flexible work schedule. One of the reasons why I've been at Lockheed Martin for 19 years is because I think the culture and the values that we demonstrate really reflect my own personal values. Performing with excellence, acting with integrity, those are steadfast values that we talk about day to day. I have seen great changes in the diversity within our company. 19 years ago, there weren't a whole lot of women in leadership, so the few that we had were highly coveted. Today, I'm proud to say that we see quite a few women in leadership roles. The advice that I would provide to young women and girls who are interested in STEM is go for it. You can do it. Don't let anyone stop you.
So sorry. That was our sponsor, Lockheed Martin. Next, we have Jackie Perry, who works with Johns Hopkins Applied Physics Lab and has contributed to various NASA spacecrafts. She will discuss her career in STEM and how she became involved in spacecraft development.
Hi, thanks for having me. I am really
Thank you
happy
for
to be
coming.
here. Yeah, of course. So I guess I'll give a little history. I am from Pasadena, Maryland, so it's just south of the Beltway, exit 1. And I grew up there, so I'm still close. I'm in Howard County. I didn't travel too far. But I'm the first and only person in my family who went to college. And so I kind of stumbled into the idea of going because I was someone that really liked math and science. And so I think like a guidance counselor maybe suggested I consider it or something like that. So anyways, I found the University of Maryland, Baltimore County. That's where I ended up getting my bachelor's and my master's. And I studied chemical engineering. Also, again, so I predate the term STEM. There were no like STEM classes or anything like that. I read about engineering like in a paper book with like pages that I borrowed from the library. Probably used a card catalog to get the book at a library. And so I read about this field and said, oh, and actually environmental engineering is what I wanted to do. Maybe I should study that. And my mom was like, engineering is really hard. You sure you want to do that? And I said, I don't know. I think so. It sounds interesting. I don't know what I'm doing. So I applied. I ended up studying chemical engineering, close second on my list. And it was very difficult, but I got through it. And so right after school, I got a job in Gaithersburg, so kind of near DC, in the biotech industry, and I did process development or process engineering. And so kind of the boiler, if I were to boil that down, it's effectively just working on a production line, making whatever it is that the company is making to make it faster or better, or make sure all the equipment is working well so that the items are being made. Or maybe you can tell when you're testing after you make whatever your things are that something is wonky. And so then doing some analysis to try to figure out what that is and how to fix it, or just how to continue to make it a better product for your customers. So I did that for a handful of years. It was a killer commute because all my family and a lot of my friends were still kind of in the Baltimore area. And I was working in Gaithersburg. I moved kind of halfway in between in Howard County, but it was still killer. And at some point, I kind of was ready for something else. And so I found a job at the Applied Physics Lab and applied to that and was able to get it. And that was in industrial engineering, which is kind of similar, but not entirely the same. And that happened to be in the space, what we now call the Space Exploration sector. And so the APL, the Applied Physics Lab, does a lot, much like your sponsor, Lockheed Martin. They do, defense-related stuff, a lot of government sponsor work, but also some space work. And so that is the sector that I'm in. So initially, my work there was focused on their fabrication efforts to support that development. And I did that for, I want to say 3 years, and kind of happened into someone working on what's called harness engineering for what is now called the Parker Solar Probe. Back then it was called Solar Probe Plus. And he needed some help, and I just happened to have been in his group. So I was like, yeah, sure, I'm up for learning a new thing. And it turns out I love it. So now that's what I do, and that's probably where I'll stay. And so harnessing is effectively all the cabling that hooks up all the electrical bits on a spacecraft. A spacecraft is just a bunch of mechanical parts and a bunch of computers that do various things, right? They might distribute power, they might receive telemetry, all the different sensors that are getting the data that the scientists then use to discover all the amazing things, at whatever place they're going to investigate. And so my subsystem hooks all that up. So I worked on Parker Solar Probe. And then after that, the Europa Clipper mission, which will launch this October. And if you Google like Europa Clipper NASA live stream, you can actually watch a live stream of that spacecraft in integration right now. It's a partnership between the Applied Physics Lab, where I work, and the Jet Propulsion Lab in California. And it's currently at JPL. And then right now I'm working on NASA's Dragonfly mission, which is an octocopter, like a very large car-sized kind of drone that will go to Titan, which is a moon of Saturn. And so that's my history. That's where I am.
That sounds really cool, actually. Thank you for sharing like a little insight on everything that you've done from the end of college till now. I have a couple questions for you. I know you said that you started off with your interest in environmental engineering. What kind of made you switch from that over to chemical and then from there all the way to spacecrafts?
Good question. So originally, strictly financial. So I wanted to do environmental engineering. And at the time I went to college, there was a thing called the Maryland Science and Technology, I think, scholarship. But I could only use it if I went to a Maryland school and then studied, science or technology. And there were no schools in the state of Maryland giving bachelor's degrees in environmental engineering at the time. And so because I wanted to keep that scholarship, that kind of limited me. And I had spoken to someone who was doing environmental engineering, and they said, you can make that shift. If you study chemical, like it's different, but like you could probably, wind your way into that world if you wanted to. And so that's why I shifted to that. And then the other part of that scholarship was I had to work in the state of Maryland for every year that I used the money, otherwise pay it back, which I didn't want to do. So when I graduated with my master's, we were in the middle of a recession, so there weren't a ton of job opportunities. And I got one job offer, which I remember when I went into engineering, people were like, you're going to get so many offers. It's going to be the best. I got one offer in the state of Maryland and I took it, and it just happened to be in process engineering. And then how I ended up in space was just kind of randomly. I took that job at APL that happened to be in the space, it was called department at the time, and liked it there. I really liked the culture at APL. And so I just sort of, it was not a intentional path. I just kind of feel like I kind of just happened to end up here.
Oh, wow. I love that. That sounds really fun. It sounds like a roller coaster of events, but even though it didn't originally stop or go the path you would like it to go, it still ended where you were happy. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
And I know you mentioned that you are a part of NASA's Dragonfly project.
Mm-hmm.
How is that like? And could you explain a little bit on, I guess, what the project is, but as well as what you enjoy about it?
Sure. So it's focused on going to Titan, which is one of the moons of Saturn. And Titan has methane lakes. And so it's part of, a contingency of scientists that are interested in studying other parts in our solar system that could harbor life or maybe kind of prebiotic chemistry. And so because there's methane there, it has carbon in it, you could end up with opportunity for life. And so that's kind of the goal of going there and kind of seeing what's going on. And so, as I said, it's a car-sized, roughly, kind of like a helicopter, but it has 8 blades. And so I feel like someone made up this word octocopter, but it kind of, if you can imagine this big car thing with 4 arms, and each arm has a couple blades on it, and it's got all these instruments on it, kind of looks like an insect sort of, which is because it has legs that it lands on. And so the thought is it would kind of fly around and take measurements and, do all the things the scientists would like to have it do and collect the data, and then they'll make all the amazing discoveries. And so, yeah, so it's been fun. It's really hard, technically very hard, but we have a really great team. And if anybody can, figure out how to do this, it's this group of people. So it's a lot of fun, but a lot of work.
I love that. You keep busy, but it's enjoyable busy.
Yeah, I mean, if you like what you do, and no day is perfect, but if you end up in a field where you like what you are doing and the people, for me, I'm a people person, so the people I work with are really critical part of that equation for me. It's not like that for everybody. But if you can find those things, those drivers and motivators, it can make it easy to deal with, how technically hard something may be.
That makes a lot of sense. And would you say that I would like to backtrack a little, so I'm sorry, but
No, it's fine.
what was kind of something that was difficult for you transitioning into chemical engineering, and I guess your path from then on?
Sure. So I was always someone who did well in school, and I thought I worked really hard. Then I got to college and I realized I could have been working so much harder. So that first semester, and I feel like this is common, was so hard for me. That transition was so hard. You're all of a sudden in a room with the best of the best from all these places. And so you really have to up your game. And that was a hard transition for me, figuring out how do I study differently to do this, and then when you have one of those classes that you have to take in order to, because it's in the curriculum required for your major that you just can't stand. So now you have to find a way to motivate yourself and get through that class. You just need to get through it and hopefully do well enough that you're not feeling so bad. So that was all a challenge for me, but I found a way somehow. And so yeah, I think the hard thing for me was just figuring out how to up my game and study better.
No, I understand for sure. I feel like I'm kind of a procrastinator, which is really bad. But definitely changing up the game to study is something that I'm also trying to work on too, because I tend to like push stuff back a little bit, but it doesn't work with everything. And so it's definitely a hard transition.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say is some advice that you would give to people who are making that transition from high school to college?
I would say give yourself grace. It's a hard transition. It could be somebody like me, where the transition was just hard because I had to figure out how to do this differently than I thought I had to figure it out, but I didn't. So I had to figure that out. It could be it's just socially very different. It could be you're in a whole new world with new people, and figuring out that new culture is hard. It's hard, right? It's hard, and so give yourself some grace. You will figure it out. And then the other advice I would say is find a safe space to be able to kind of vent, but validate those feelings for yourself. Like, these are reasonable feelings to have. And know that you can do it. A lot of people back out because they just, I think they can't do it, but it's hard for everybody, and they're doing it. You can do it too. Just find resources that can help with, whether it's study groups or things on campus, like I'm blanking on terms, but, they might have like an office of tutors or something like that, but utilize those and know that you can do it.
Thank you. And what would you say was some study tips that you did that helped you to balance everything?
So the first, this might break your heart maybe, but the first is I did not wait. So the things that were the hardest for me, I forced myself to start early. And that was the thing I had to learn to do, because my tendency is to just put it off. So I would just kind of schedule my time, like Monday at 6 o'clock, I'm going to deal with this, for me, papers. I can't stand writing papers. I'm going to sit down and make a first draft of that terrible paper I do not want to have to do. So, it's almost, for me, it works well if I can schedule it. So I would schedule the time and force myself to do it. And the other thing I did with as an engineering student, I had a lot of questions, problems to solve. So leading up to an exam, I don't know if anybody else does this, but I swear it's like magic for me. Leading up to the exam, I would do every single homework problem, and any exam, like if I had a midterm exam, or if there was a bank of exams that people had access to, I would do every question 3 times on a whiteboard. Guess it doesn't have to be a whiteboard, because maybe kids now, you have cool things, but it was cool. At least it wasn't a blackboard. But I would do them 3 times over, because I found the muscle memory of doing the work. By the time I got through the second time, the third time I didn't even really have to almost finish it. But when I saw that exact formula, flavor of problem on an exam, I knew what to do. So that was a thing I just kind of stumbled on and really helped me.
That's really cool. I actually kind of have something like that too, where
Okay.
a day of an exam, or I guess a quiz or something, I will work on our previous assignments that we did, like, I guess minutes before, so it's fresh in your memory. So it really helps.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
And what would you say was some of your most hardest classes during like your year?
That's a great question as well. So everybody's different. I mentioned papers. So I tried to find any, this is bad advice, but I tried to find any, when I had to take those like courses that are like to keep you well-rounded, like history and whatever, I would try to find the ones that did not require papers, like an essay, maybe, but not a paper. And so, so those were always the hardest for me, like to sit down and write 5 pages on something, just, oh God, it's terrible for me. But then it's just terrible, but I could write a 100-page lab report, no problem. So that was hard. And then I took a class as a chemical engineering student. You have to take, I think at most universities, 2 levels of what's called physical chemistry. So the first is a lot of thermodynamics and a lot of things you're actually taking at the same time. And so that wasn't so bad. But the second level is all quantum chemistry. So chemistry at like the tiniest level. And it was so hard for me. It was the only time I ever wanted to burn a textbook when the class was over. Just like, this is so terrible. So I buckled down and got through it, but it was so hard for me.
The minute I heard quantum, I was like, oh,
It was terrible.
that's,
It was terrible.
whoa. I'm glad you made it through, because I probably would have like midway just collapsed.
Yeah, well, you know, I had a good friend who just like loved that stuff. He ended up getting a PhD in analytical chemistry, which is like a special kind of person. And it just like came to him. So I just latched on, and Daryl helped me get through the calls.
But that's amazing though, because that was another source on, we're all in
Yeah.
this together.
Yep.
So then what were some classes that you really enjoyed?
Oh, okay. Well, this one is not related to engineering, but when I went to UMBC, only for 1 year, maybe just one semester, they had somebody come in and offer a class on like investing and finances. And I think maybe someone was like, you know what people never teach engineers? What to do with their money. And so if you ever have an opportunity to take such a real world class, it was super useful. All this kind of stuff about like retirement plans and all this stuff. And so that was helpful. And then and interesting. And I think, I don't know what, I did actually take some environmental engineering electives. And so there's one on wastewater treatment, which doesn't sound very exciting, but it was the chemistry and biochemistry behind wastewater treatment is, I think, pretty cool.
Thank you so much, Miss Perry. I really enjoyed talking to you, as well as hearing insight about your journey from high school and college and into your career today. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for having me. This was fun.
Of course, anytime. We're going to transition it over to Savannah.
That was exciting, learning about the Women of Color STEM Conference. Now, I would like to take you on a little STEM journey through the world of inventions. This month, we feature a woman who is revolutionizing cancer treatment, Dr. Hadia Nicole Green. Dr. Hadia Nicole Green has made history when she became the first doctor to cure cancer using nanoparticles. Dr. Green is a STEM inventor, leader, humanitarian, and an entrepreneur. She is also known for being one of the first Black American women to earn a PhD in physics. Also, this is a photo of her. Early life was turbulent for Hadia Nicole Green as she lost her mother and her grandparents to cancer at the age of 4, only to be sent to live with her aunt and uncle who were also unfortunately diagnosed with cancer when she entered her early 20s. Nonetheless, Dr. Green pursued many interests as a student at University of Alabama at Birmingham. She became Miss Alabama A&M University 2002 to 2003 and became a member of Delta Sigma Theta sorority. Though she had many skills and developed an expertise in nanotechnology, immunotherapy, and precision medicine. During her 4th year of graduate college, Dr. Green recalls that while researching cancer treatments, she thought of untangling the code of chemistry to be much like untangling her auntie's jewelry when she was younger. The amount of patience and repetitive picking through and unlooping needed to do the tedious task was like a 1-to-1 correlation in her eyes. And it was at that time that Dr. Green knew the gift that she could bring to the world. With that mentality, she has invented a revolutionary cancer treatment that uses lasers and nanotechnology to eliminate cancer in mice after only one 10-minute treatment in just 15 days with no observable side effects. Today, Dr. Hadia Nicole Green founded a non-for-profit organization called Aura Lee Smith Cancer Research Foundation, named after her late aunt, Aura Lee Smith. She wanted to ensure that her cancer treatments were going to be affordable, accessible, and effective. Dr. Green's ultimate goal is to change the way cancer is treated. What an inspirational story. Next month, we will share another inventor who changed the way that we use technology today with his groundbreaking invention. Students, we hope all of you are enjoying learning about STEM careers at today's BEYA Stars and Stripes STEM Career Day, streamed live from STEM City, USA. Let's take a quick commercial break to learn more about STEM City, USA.
What if you could build your own city? A place where every child can find nurturing people to help them achieve their full potential. A place where every adult can access job training support. Where health education is abundant. Where social justice ruled the land. A place without limitations. Welcome. You have arrived at STEM City, USA. It is what every city should be. A safe and trusted community where you find people and resources to help you become everything you are and beyond. STEM City is unlike anything you have ever experienced. It is a digital twin of the world around you, only better. STEM City is about energy and soul renewal. It is more than a digital world. You can almost feel the power of live cultural events, music, and theater. STEM City promises a better future for children with caring mentors and hands-on activities with dedicated tutors to support our youth. STEM City is your passport to a healthy lifestyle with weekly events addressing our community's many issues. STEM City is your financial well-being with helpful information on wealth management, career advancement, job training, and so much more. STEM City is the community you deserve. It is the city where your dreams can come true. STEM City USA, a place in the sky that is accessible to all who reach for the stars.
That was STEM City USA, our 2D metaverse. We would like to. That was STEM City USA, our 2D metaverse. Would you like to join us in building the metaverse by participating in the STEM City USA scavenger hunt? Our scavenger hunt is where you will explore the metaverse through cues and careful observation. In February, at the BEYA Career Carnival in Baltimore, Maryland, you can participate in person by exploring booths and collecting clues to win prizes and learn more about STEM City USA. Last month, we shared more about the upcoming AI-powered library that will be opened in the STEM City USA in December 2023. Don't forget to visit stemcityusa.com and enter the Education and Discovery building. Then enter the library to sign up for your digital library card. In February, we are broadcasting from the BEYA STEM Conference in Baltimore, Maryland. The pre-college students from Detroit will get to experience metaverse technology, AR, VR, XR, iRacing, esports, and drone building, workshops, and more. Make sure you tune in to see the latest technology. Over to you, Mimi.
Thank you so much, Matthew. Hi, as we know, I'm Mimi, and I'm gonna talk about a couple moments in my life called Mimi's Moments, where I kind of just talk about stuff that's happened from junior year all the way till the end of senior year. So far, my transition from junior year has been pretty hectic. It's been busy. I've finished a lot of applications, but also trying to balance school and applications. It's kind of hard. I don't think anybody really prepares you for senior fall and how heavy it is, but you know, you got to find your balance. You got to make sure to get everything done. Some of the applications I've done is Georgia Tech, George Mason, and JMU. I'm really enjoying those schools so far because they have really good communities. It's really interactive with their students, as well as they have really beautiful campuses. And so that's what's really stood out to me. Also, in senior year, working on getting in your applications is top priority. That's what it's been. So trying not to procrastinate and trying to find a better flow of what happens with my schoolwork as well as personal life and applications. I keep mentioning it because that's something that a lot of seniors focus on dead first of the start of the school year. So that's really what has been happening. I think some advice that I would have to give is, for one, make sure to do all of your schoolwork. I know that just sounds really basic, but that's something that you definitely need to get done because procrastinating and doing it last minute will evidently not really work really well as it's not the best quality. Don't forget to also ask for help. That's something that I've been doing with all my hard classes. Asking for help is how I've been able to advance and definitely do better and show some results of improvement. And another thing is definitely don't kill yourself over schoolwork. School will always be there, classes will always be there, but evidently it's you that matters. While schoolwork is important, know when to also prioritize your personal health, because if you don't, you can't get anything done. Sometimes just taking that nap or going outside and just getting a fresh breather will help you put yourself in a better mindset and help you be able to get the stuff that you need to get done. So that's definitely something that I would have to share. Thank you so much. And we are going to pass it over to Hope.
Thanks, Mimi. Are you in touch? Visit mystemcity.com and join the In Touch community. We have our own social media sharing app, and we want you to join so you can stay in touch with the latest STEM City USA news, BEYA events, exciting activities with our STEM City USA partners, and career activities. Visit mystemcity.com and join today.
Thank you to all who joined us for Career Day, and thank you to the veterans who have served our country. Thank you to our Career Day team for joining us today. Please remember to visit stemcityusa.com for more BEYA STEM Career Day segments. We would also like to give a very special thanks to our BEYA STEM Career Day sponsor, Lockheed Martin. They are known for their groundbreaking work in aerospace, arms, defense, information security, and technology around the world. Please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel and join us for the next Career Day on December 9th, 2023. We'll leave you with a compilation of videos from the past BEYA and Women of Color conferences. We welcome you to join us in Baltimore this February for the next BEYA conference. See you next time.
Every day at Lockheed Martin, we are creating the future. When did I decide to become an engineer? Where I grew up in my village, we had a lot of interaction with nature. So I was always fascinated by the flight of the hummingbird. Seeing this marvelous aerodynamics of the hummingbird gave me this general idea that I wanted to be working on the ability to control things that flew. I've had this long running curiosity, I still do today, of asking the question, why is this the way it is? Are there ways to improve what it does? And in fact, those are the same questions we ask every day at Lockheed Martin. That's why my colleagues come to work saying, this is great, we've done all these great things, we've built all these great systems. How could we make it better? And how could we make it better together? Lockheed Martin's engineers and scientists are at the forefront of innovation. Everything from AI and machine learning to hypersonics to directed energy. Individually, all these are really critical capabilities that we need to develop. To actually deliver something ahead of ready to our customers, it takes pulling these pieces together into an overall mission capability. What we are doing here matters to our nation, to our nation's security.
Calling all future STEM pioneers, leaders, and career champions. Join us on every second Saturday of the month for the BEYA Career Day. BEYA STEM Career Day is all about creating opportunities for students to venture into the world of STEM through the eyes of professionals. You'll meet mentors and presenters that will give you a sneak peek into the many options available to you in the field of STEM. Hosted by teen ambassadors, you'll find yourself among inspiring peers just like yourself that are aiming high for their future. To take part in the BEYA STEM Career Day on Zoom, visit fullstemahead.us and register for the next session. Again, that's fullstemahead.us. BEYA, becoming everything you are.